everybody, and welcome to Trigger Talks. I'm Jamie. You've been listening to me for the last 9 sessions. Sorry about that. But this is our last session of the conference, and I'm really glad you're all sticking along listening to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So last March, Jean, can you see my screen? I want to just make sure. Okay.
Yes, it's not in slideshow mode, but I see
that's fine. We don't. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So last March, I attended the PLA conference in Indianapolis, and I attended a session called Spark Talks. And audience members over those 2 days were given 5 minutes to talk about something. Kevin, who is one of our speakers today, was actually the moderator. So Kevin, do you want to just talk about that for a few seconds? Kevin?
You might have. Did you mute him? He might have to unmute him.
No, Kevin will have to unmute himself. Maybe not.
Okay, I didn't know if you had overridden him.
That's okay. He might have left the room. All right. But anyway, it was very popular. The room was just packed for both sessions. It was very entertaining. The cool thing about it was that you were getting little sparks or tidbits of information from several people, and I thought, why can't we do this online? As far as I know, it hasn't been done, but it's happening today. Many of the speakers for this conference, and on the slide I'm showing a little description of the Spark Talks, what it looked like in the program booklet. Many of the speakers for the Wild Wisconsin Winter Web Conference are not from Wisconsin, and the purpose of that is to get ideas from people in other places, from people outside Wisconsin, which I think we can all appreciate. But at the same time, I know that there are a lot of people in this state doing some awesome things, and we don't always hear about them. And, maybe they don't want to give a long 45-minute presentation or do a 3-hour workshop on something. So I really feel that this short spiel is a good platform for some of that. The challenge is that our speakers only have 6 minutes to get their idea across, and not a second more. The interesting thing about webinars is that it is very, very easy for me to cut off a speaker because all I have to do is click that little button with my mouse, and they're done. Actually, they kind of disappear. Okay. No, they don't disappear, but they're not going to be able to talk anymore, and they're done. So we have 6 speakers today, and they just found out about 15 minutes before we started what the order is of their speaking, and here it is. Why they chose to put themselves through this event, I have no idea. The order was randomly chosen by me a few days ago, so this will be the order, and they were all informed of that. The gist of this, how it will work, they're going to control the screen and talk to you for 6 minutes about whatever they want. They might get a warning when time is close. They might not. I haven't really decided yet. Hopefully, there won't be disruptions from you, the audience. But they know I can't promise anything. I mean, we all know things happen, during presentations. People don't turn off their cell phones. Someone might be drilling a wall next door. People might be laughing. People might be unwrapping their cough drop wrappers. We don't know. And, things happen at the library, too, that interrupt us. So we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. So when the final speaker is done, you will be asked to vote for your favorite. And the criteria, there is none. I know. Librarians, you like rules and you like policies and you like structure, but we are throwing that. No policies, no rules. We're throwing that out the window today, people. You're just going to vote for the person you like the best. It's that simple. Go with your heart. Go with your gut. Don't think about it too much. Just go with it. And, of course, the winner is going to be crowned the first Trigger Talk champion, and they're going to get an awesome Polish flower headdress. I know. They're talking.
I already bought the dress tonight.
Yeah, Kevin already bought the dress. So I'm telling you, they're talking smack, people. They really want to be crowned this champion. So to practice voting, what I'm going to have you do right now in your question box is type in an A, a B, or a C, just so we can make sure. Okay, awesome. H, yep. Awesome.
Sorry, I have to unmute so you can hear me laughing as well.
Awesome. So you guys understand how this is going to work. We're going to wait till all 6 speakers are done before you put in your vote. Oh, Sean. People are being sassy and putting in weird things. All right, that's fun. That is going to add to the fun of it. So I'm going to take myself off webcam so you can stop looking at my face. And we're going to get started, I think. Are we ready? Are we ready? Trigger Talkers, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's go.
Are the rest of you ready? Everybody?
Ready.
I was born ready.
Oh, my God.
We're ready.
They are ready, people.
I think they're ready.
Okay, I think you're right. Okay, we're going to get started.
Hey, Jean?
Yes.
Did you want me to mention? I'm sorry. As soon as you asked me to talk about Spark Talks, I got booted.
Oh, yeah.
Did you say anything else?
I just I mentioned that you were the moderator and that it was just a really cool, packed event. And the cool thing about it was that we got a lot of snippets of ideas from people.
Yes, it was a spark an idea, so awesome. Cool.
And as far as I know, it hasn't been done online, but we're trying that today. And we're going to see how it all kind of pans out. I know, I'm pretty excited too. Okay, so our first trigger talker is Cole. And Cole, here we go. I still don't know how to pronounce your last name very well. Maybe you could tell the audience how to do that. Cole, are you there? Cole? Jean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
you.
Okay,
we're not getting a connection from Cole, though, are we?
No, I'm I'll try and chat with her.
Okay. Hang with us, people.
Oh, she's a phone person. I see that.
Yes. So she's on the phone. So maybe she figured out how to mute her phone, but now can't.
Oh, now she can't. Okay.
No, I don't know. No, that was my guess. I didn't hear from her. That was just my.
Okay.
That was just me.
You know what? I think we're. If you could keep talking with her, I think we're going to go with Dominic just for the sake of time. We're going to go to our next presenter. So, Dominic, are you ready?
Yes. I'm ready to go.
Okay. I'm going to pass you the control.
Ready?
All right. Whenever you are ready, you are welcome to begin.
All right. This is my office. There aren't many like it, but this one is mine. You've probably heard that physical inactivity or sitting disease is the linked to increased risk of heart and cardiovascular disease, a couple varieties of cancer, obesity, diabetes. Regular exercise can reduce the occurrence of these maladies and the amount spent on medical bills and health insurance to correct them, but you have to take action.
Dominic?
Standing and
Sorry, we need you to talk a little bit louder.
Standing and walking are both weight-bearing exercises, so there's a decreased risk of osteoporosis when you're walking. There's also increased blood flow to your brain for better mental cognition and improved job performance. The endorphins that are released during exercise help improve your mood and keep you cheery and positive when you have that annoying patron in front of you. Because you're not slouching in your chair, neck and back pain are reduced, so the improved ergonomics you have while walking are also a benefit. It's also hard to sleep while you're walking, so I found I actually drink less coffee to stay alert at the end of a long day because I'm still moving. Walking at your desk is an easy way to get in your 10,000 daily steps, or about 5 miles if you have an activity tracker or pedometer. But you won't lose a lot of weight at a treadmill desk unless you also change your diet. Yeah, standing and walking both burn calories than sitting, but diet is more influential than weight loss than the amount of exercise you do. But exercising builds muscle and increases your body's rate of thermogenesis, which is the amount of heat you produce through your body's basic metabolic functions. 84% of body fat leaves via the carbon dioxide that you exhale while breathing. So on a very basic level, increasing your heart rate and exertion level while breathing out more carbon dioxide and generating heat, which equals more weight loss. If you were wondering about how much exercise you need to perform to avoid some of the diseases, it's about an hour. Strenuous exercise will buy you about 6 hours worth of decisions. So, whether you're in the gym, walking, etc., you can watch 3 episodes of this TV show.
I'm sorry. Who has a fax machine in their office?
Sorry, that's me.
Turn that off.
Sorry.
Turn that off. Okay.
I will. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Dominic. Keep going.
But before you jump on the treadmill desk bandwagon, make sure you get permission. Your boss, HR, OSHA, they all will probably have something to say about it. The other thing to keep in mind is that desktop setups vary very widely, and this will most likely be a personal investment. I don't see any cities out there putting together treadmill desks for their employees. So if you want to get one, it's going to be on your dime. Be sure to plan it out and try one, if at all possible. Drive an hour, drive 2 to try it out before you spend the money on the treadmill desk. The thing to keep in mind if you're going to put one together yourself is that standard exercise treadmills are really noisy, so conference calls, speakerphone.
Gene, turn it off.
Sorry. I will.
All these things can pick up on your treadmill noise. Remember to start slow when you get your treadmill desk because just transitioning from sitting to standing most of the day takes a couple of weeks to get used to. I recommend move from sitting to standing, either on a padded mat or if you already have your treadmill, keep it non-moving for the first day so you don't fall off, so you get used to whatever you're doing. I can tell you that you really appreciate your 15-minute breaks and your lunch breaks because you'll be able to sit down. Something that when I started that was really a big benefit to me is I actually took all my breaks, stopped eating lunch at my desk. Remember that you're going to start walking slowly and build speed as your comfort and coordination improve. Typing, using the mouse, and some cognitive skills take some adjustment. You may want an adjustable height desk so you can take walking breaks when you're starting out. And you may also want to increase the font size on your monitor or on your laptop to allow for easier reading since you're going to be moving a little bit. There are a couple different options. If you get an adjustable height desk for your treadmill, others that come into your office for meetings can sit down around it. Or you can try standing meetings if you want to go the efficient route. I encourage you to get off the treadmill when speaking to patrons that come in your office because perception can be, since you're going to be about 6 inches taller, is that you're intimidating or hard to approach. Also, I've had a comment to say if you feel that you're not listening to
Sorry.
The other perception is that you're not paying attention to them if you're walking. For some reason, if you're moving around and not standing perfectly still, people think that you're not paying attention to them. Another thing to keep in mind for your treadmill desk is that dress shoes are no longer good for walking in all day. So keep a pair of walking and running shoes in your office, or vice versa. Keep a pair of dress shoes in your office and wear those to your meetings if you want. I also encourage you to do all of your normal desk exercises to reduce stress and strain. But people may think that you're dancing in your office. If you're already exercising, walking is perfect for active recovery to reduce cramping and inflammation. When I was racing last year, it really helped my recovery. And also, famous authors are using walking desks. John Green has a great video up there, and Michael Perry mentions his walking desk in his recent book, From the Top. That's 6 minutes.
Oh, you just made it. Good job. Let's all give Dominic a round of applause. Come on, people. Come on. Come on. Here we go. Come on. Oh, you are a good audience. Awesome. All right. Jean, how are we doing with Cole? Is she up and running?
She should be.
Okay, Cole, are
you there?
You there? Oh no.
Okay. Well, she was in the chat, but she wasn't sure why her phone wasn't working.
Okay,
so
maybe she wants to hang up and try calling back in. And
okay,
and then you can make her a panelist. Yeah. Okay, awesome. We're going to move on to Kay. So,
I'm here.
Hey, Kay, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. All right. We're going to give you the control here.
Okay.
And
let me know when to start.
You can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, here in Gillette, we have an opportunity to do something unique, something outside the box, and it's going to benefit our entire community. We're working to create a community center and a community square space which is adjacent to our library, and we're located right on Main Street. And we're using placemaking principles to do this, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I think that what we really all need to change our perception of what libraries are. And I agree with what Sarah Houghton talked about in her webinar yesterday, that we need to change the conversation from how others love us to how we in libraries love our communities. So this is what we're doing here in Gillette in and for our community. So basically in 2011 we began planning for an expansion project. We know we needed more room. Our friends paid for an architectural plan and we started fundraising. And then in the fall of 2013, the bank building next door decided that they were going to close that branch. And so we changed our focus from remodeling to using that space for something unique and special. So this is the plan. So basically we take up space now in 2 banks, which is why it's called 2 banks in a square. And phase 1 is to create 2 meeting room spaces in that bank building. And once we do that, we are going to convert our library's existing meeting room space into library space. And then the part that I'm most excited about is in the space in between, we are going to create a community square. And it's not the community square that would be like...
Sorry.
Phone is on.
It's me again.
I bet it's Sean Bromer. Whose phone is on? Turn it off. Okay. Sorry, Kay.
Okay. So anyway, it's not the kind of a community square that a big municipality would have. This is basically a square of property located right on Main Street that's located between both of our buildings. So there's so much potential with this space, and we did a survey of our community, and these were some of the top things that people wanted to see. They wanted to see a farmer's market. They wanted to see lunchtime entertainment, an interactive water feature, places where they could sit and access Wi-Fi and socialize, and ice skating. So when we started getting our heads around this community center square concept, I started looking for resources that might be available to us. And I discovered an Outside the Box grant, which was sponsored by OCLC, Redbox, and the Project for Public Spaces. And we were one of 22 libraries and library systems in the country that received this grant, and it allowed us to have an outdoor event, which we did this past summer, and it was an open house event to promote our community center and our community square. The Project for Public Spaces is basically, and I'm going to read this from their site, they're a nonprofit planning, design, and educational organization that's dedicated to helping people create and sustain public spaces that build stronger communities. Their placemaking approach helps citizens transform their public spaces into vital places that highlight local assets, spur rejuvenation, and serve common needs. The Project for Public Spaces believes that what starts in the library can transform an entire community, and libraries can use their placemaking principles to create vibrant public spaces that build stronger communities. Hello.
Sorry, keep going. I just thought that was very dramatic, what you just said.
Okay. Yeah. A really good resource that they have available, and they have several, but the Great Neighborhood book, it's all on placemaking principles, and I would really recommend that people read that book to get more information on what they as a library can do. So what are we doing now? We're skating the square this winter. Thanks to our city crew who is plowing the rink, and thanks to our fire department who is flooding it with their tanker trucks. This is something that's totally new to us, and we are going to do it. Now, of course, there's all this warm weather, so we're waiting for it to get cold again so we can do this. But anyway, that's the plan. We've got it set and ready to go. We're also waiting for local contractors to get back to us on quotes to renovate the bank building. There isn't too much we have to do there, but we do have to do a couple things before we can open it up to the public. So these are some pictures from the Outside the Box event that we had this summer, the open house event for our community center square. And I basically just want to end by telling everybody and promoting you all to be the motivator in your community, be the positive force, think outside the box, look for and take every advantage and look for every opportunity that you can find to shine in your communities. And know that you can make a difference, and don't let the good old boys get you down. Just do it. So am I under 6 minutes? I must be.
You are. Good job, Kay. Let's give Kay a round of applause, everybody. Oh, yeah. I'm not hearing a lot. I'm not hearing rounds of applause. Oh, there we go. There we go. Here we go. Thank you. Thanks for waking up, people. Yeah. Okay. That was excellent. All right. Okay. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, I'm hearing. Is that you, Cole?
It's me. I'm a
Yay!
Yay!
Hi. Do I get to go next?
Yes, you do. All right. So, Cole, how do you say your last name?
Zroslik.
Okay, so the Z is like silent, kind of.
It's sort of. It's like a z. Zroslik.
Okay. Just so you all know, if you want to contact any of our trigger talkers, their emails are listed on our website if you want to follow up with any of these ideas and want to contact them more for any of that. So, Cole, if you just want to show your screen.
Oh yeah, I got to do that, don't I? Oh my gosh, I'm really terrible at this.
No, you're
Thrown
fine.
off a little bit. You were.
All right.
There you go.
Don't look at my screen though. I'm not ready. Now the screen that I had is gone. Okay.
Nope, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Here it is. All right.
All right. So you can go ahead and start whenever you're ready.
All right. So I was going to talk about out-of-the-box programming, but that is definitely different for every library. So I'm just going to talk about radical family programming for youth services overachievers. I do a lot, and I think probably a lot of other people do a lot. I should also tell you that I'm kind of competitive. I wouldn't mind winning Trigger Talks. I sent Marge an email to ask what I probably needed to do to win Trigger Talks.
Oh, that's cheating.
And she told me the more self-centered I came across as being, the more likely I would be to win. So I want you all to know that this talk is mostly going to be about me, personally as a person and as a children's librarian. I started working in youth services in 2010, so I'm almost to 10,000 hours. So that makes me pretty much an expert. Obviously, you should follow all of my advice. Right here is I have some examples of out-of-the-box programming, but mostly I have a framework that I use and that you could use too. And also, I have not timed out this speech, so hopefully we'll get the blowhorn at the end. Here we go.
Yeah.
So here's my first slide. First, discover my strengths, because we want to talk about me. And actually, what I wanted to say, that finding your strengths is important for everybody, not just high rollers. It's for you, everybody. But we'll talk about mine a little bit. So here are my top five from StrengthsFinders.
Who's eating chips?
These are really good things that I use all the time, every day. And so here's my first one, ideas.
Could you chew a little louder, a little softer, please? Thanks.
I'm too loud?
No,
that was me. That was me. Leftovers from the potluck today, sorry.
Yeah,
Ooh, what do you got?
paper down. Chew with your mouth closed, maybe? Okay.
Sorry.
Sorry, Cole. Go ahead.
So I need to follow through. I'm going to be really good at this. I'm good at shifting. I am strategic. I like to figure out what my patrons need. I'm a learner. I like to always try new things. And I'm responsible and empathetic, which leads to my favorite things about being a youth services librarian, developmental assets. Probably lots of you know about these already, but this is a trigger talk. It's supposed to trigger something. Here, these guide almost all that I do on a daily basis for kids. And these right here, this is radical programming. And kids know that they are valued here at my library, which is why we need to all stop programming only for readers. create engaging experiences, safe spaces, and if your patrons know that they're important and that they're valued, circulation takes care of itself. How radical is that? Let's see, no bored kids at my library, I'll tell you that much. Because if they're bored, they get to experience number 9, service to others. Oh, how nice. Here's something kind of radical. I just saw this like last week, and the 21st century librarian really has it together, and I love her. I love these pillars that make up this awesome vision for libraries as serious educational institutions. They already are, in my opinion, but this is a really good way to get buy-in from everybody else. Here are the 3 pillars: self-directed education, research assistance and instruction, instructive and enlightening experiences. The cool thing, all 3 of those pillars are equally weighted. They're the same size. This is exciting for programming because it's just as important as all the other self-directed education, and programming is self-directed education, especially if you're looking at programming in a community outreach experience sort of light. Yeah, get yourself a mantra. Those 3 pillars are really inspiring me right now. And let's see. Oh, here we go. Here, if you're talking about fostering learning in your community, here's my advice. Bring what's great about your community inside your library. Here's a really cool picture of an artist who this summer did some really cool wood art with kids outside the library, right outside there. Here's a kid with a wolf pelt because we are pretty close to the Wolf Center in Ely, Minnesota, and so we got a big old crate full of wolf stuff and a wolf expert, whatever. It's really cool stuff. Engaging for kids. What do the kids in your community have to offer? This is a kid teaching a really great class, super popular, really fun. And here's another example, bringing your community inside the library. And let's see, and meet your community where they are too. We take the show on the road as much as we possibly can, especially in the summertime. But right now we're doing the same thing.
Oh, you're all done, Cole.
Really?
You're done.
No.
Yeah, no, you know what, I'm going to do that again just because that was so much fun. Yeah, you're done.
Oh. That's the noise?
It is so annoying.
I just have one last, here's my last slide, incorporate play.
Hey, I'm cutting you off. You're getting the mute. Thank you, Cole. Let's all give a round of applause for Cole. Even for getting the done sign. Come on, people. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. Good. I have to say after 10 webinars, hitting that fail button sound effect is a little therapeutic. Can you understand that, Jean, a little bit?
I can. I'm having lots of fun.
Me too. Okay. All right. So we switched up our order a little bit. I hope it didn't throw any of you too off. But Marge, you're still number 4, and I'm going to give you control here. Marge is actually broadcasting from Madison. She's on her way to a workshop, so she might be out of her element a little bit because she's in a different location and maybe not as comfortable as she normally might be. So I'm hoping this might move her off a little bit. She was talking smack earlier about this, being the champion, and I've had enough of it. So yeah, let's see how she does. Yeah. All right, Marge, whenever you're ready, go right ahead.
Okay, I want to talk to everybody today about being fearless, because sometimes the fear of what we think people might say keeps us kind of from bringing our best to our library work. And wouldn't it be great to just fling off the fear and do the things that need to be done? On occasion, people have characterized me as fearless. You can see I'm clearly not. I just go around on snowshoes. I don't even ski around. so it's not true, but I'm willing to take some risks to make things happen. Whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, if you want to affect change within your community or library, you often just have to get out of yourself and go ahead and do it. So you have to find that moxie within yourself to push out to make things happen. And it takes a little confidence, and it really takes the ability to roll up your sleeves to make things work. Change can be challenging, I totally get it, but hiding from it isn't going to accomplish anything. So it's important to realize what we fear about putting forth our ideas. Yes, like it's like going down the toilet. Then we need to find ways to work through the difficulty, like working through the trigger thought.
I'm sorry, there's just a little construction going on outside.
That's why the next slide is called What Prevents
Yeah,
Us.
there's someone's running a jackhammer. I'm going to try to stop it. Just hang on, Marge. Okay, sorry about that.
What prevents this construction?
Yeah, all right.
So what prevents us from embracing and leading this change? Well, sometimes it's fear of what others are going to say. Are the patrons going to accept our change, or are they going to give us a bad time? Or maybe you have coworkers who are always like, no, no, no. Or you just fear that anyone in the library or the board or the director or anyone is going to deny you. And the other thing that can sometimes prevent us is that we fear taking a step that we think might take us too far. And this step might just ruin our life or our career or maybe even just our week. So what can we do? How can we stop being afraid and start being fearless? Well, I have some to-dos and some to-don'ts, so let's start there with solving this all. First of all, with our to-don'ts, don't do any change alone. Together, we're really stronger. Don't bully others to get the change that you want. Fearlessness isn't foolishness, and it's foolish to push others rather than spend time working with them. Don't over-dramatize the situation or why you see the need for change. Be honest about the pros and the cons. That's one of the cons. And finally, in our fearless to-don'ts, don't threaten to blow up the place if you don't get your way. Change can never happen in a good way if you do that. So now let's get positive. What's our sad fearless to-dos? No, our happy fearless to-dos. That's the strategies to help you be successful. So read, research, and really get your ducks, or this seems to be a dog or a cat or something in the wagon, get them in order. Know what you are thinking about and why. Find out what other libraries have tried, if they've done the same change, and see what happened. Find allies. Find people both within and without your library to share this change adventure. The more people that understand the need for change, the easier it is to get that ball rolling. Be sure to communicate clearly. That's a huge thing if you want to be fearless. Communicate with everybody involved. And really, don't be a knowledge miser. That's the worst kind of person, and people don't want to change when they have a miser in charge. And then, definite to-do, listen and really incorporate into your concept the ideas that you hear from others, because it's going to make whatever you're thinking better. The more that you make a change collaborative, the better the results. We fade into believing in yourself and believe in those who are working with you to bring that change about. So if you're convinced and you work with others to convince themselves about this change, you can do it. And then celebrate your success and be positive about the change with those people who are hesitant and still resistant. Point out the positives And don't be afraid to adjust to make the change better and to accommodate more people. The results? Fearlessness. Now everybody out there, go forth and be mighty. That's it.
Oh, and she's done. Good job, Marge.
Before my timer went off. Woo!
Good job, Marge. Woo! Excellent. Excellent. Okay. We got 2 trigger talkers left. Next, we have coming up Ben Miller. Ben, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
You feeling good about this yet, or are these people scaring you at all, or?
I'm a little nervous. I wasn't sure we were supposed to prepare a talk, so I was just going to wing it. But I guess I'll try. I'll do my best.
Okay. Well, you know what? You just start whenever you're ready, and I'll start my timer.
All right. Well, I'm here to tell you that everything that you know is wrong. My name is Ben Miller, and I'm going to tell you why stealing is a great idea and that your kindergarten teacher can suck it. Anyway, I'm not saying that you should plagiarize. Don't take big pieces of Wikipedia, copy and paste them into your library blog and pass them off as your own. If your collection budget is getting a little short, I don't want you to go to Barnes & Noble and start stealing books. And I don't want you to just post Drake MP3s on your website. Oh, is that Drake? I think that's the remix. But, yeah, don't post those remixes illegally on your website just because you know your patrons want them. What I want you to do is to find something great. Find something. Oh, yeah, that was weak. Find something. Steal it. Make it yours. Make it better. Make it different. Share it with someone else, and rinse and repeat, and do that over and over again. I want us to create a culture of greatness. And just as a side note, I'm stealing this idea. Austin Kleon wrote a book called Steal Like an Artist, and he had a TED Talk with the same name. And I'm just stealing it, and I'm remixing it to make it more relevant to libraries. I want you to be more like this and less like this when I talk about stealing. So, and by the way, I had real pictures in here, but I decided since I said you shouldn't steal things and, you know, abuse copyright, I would just draw pictures, so you're going to have to stick with me with my drawing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you where I look for ideas to steal, what ideas I've successfully stolen, how I've made them better, and now I'm going to let you steal them by sharing them with you. And then you're going to make them better because I'm sure they're not as good as they can be. So one of the ways I do things is...
Ben, do you still have a typewriter in your library? What's going on here?
I do. It's kind of a retro thing.
Yeah.
The 80s love it, and I type things out and fax them to people. So if you hear a fax machine, that's...
Is that what's going on? I mean, I'm hearing a typewriter.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Yep, I'm live typing this talk.
That's what I
some people live tweet. I live type.
Okay, awesome. Keep it up.
And so I also actively seek out thought leaders. One thing that I did a couple of years ago is, go to conferences. That's one of the things that I do. And as chair of the 2015 WLA conference, I'm going to have a shameless plug to say come to the WLA conference in Middleton, November 3rd through the 6th. So I attended an online class, a MOOC, a big thing from San Jose State University. It was the Hyperlinked Library MOOC, and there was one speaker who was a guest speaker, Monica Harris from the Oak Park Library, and she talked about her idea box. This was an old coffee shop that they converted into an interactive space for patrons, and I thought, that's awesome, I'm stealing it. My library is not big enough, so I looked, and I have a bulletin board that I can use, and I can do the same thing. So this is something we did last year when it was so cold. We had patrons come in. They stuck pins on a map where they'd rather be and explained why they would rather be there. And then I also thought, we're strapped for space, but one place where we can compete with any library is online. We have the same amount of space online as anyone else. And so we did this. People could virtually post and people could physically post. We cross-populated the things, and so it was equal. We had all kinds of participation for a small library in southern Wisconsin. So it was an awesome idea, and I love the idea of that space between the virtual and the physical. We've done other things, Choose Our Own Adventure, community story, a book bracket, and right now we're doing Boggle. Another thing, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, is passively immerse yourself in online culture. You guys are online. You're here. Facebook's a great place to share things. We had a staff member make an awesome display. We shared it on Facebook, and it was replicated in Australia, thousands of kilometers away, and that was because of Facebook. Wisconsin Library Facebook admins has great ideas. ALA Think Tank, they're great. Twitter, follow conferences, follow all kinds of things. Did I say conferences? You should come to the WLA conference in Middleton, November 3rd through the 6th, because that would be awesome. It's going to be great. And there's other places on the internet. Just be aware of what's going on. Reddit. Reddit deserves the sad trombone. It's the worst place on the internet, but it has good ideas. I did a thing with my patrons where we did the actual advice mallard on tips on how to use the search engine. So that was great. And then I don't like the phrase think outside the box anymore, so I just use the fast food chains think outside the bun thing. I'm not going to say their name, but so look outside the library world. One of the things that I found when I was immersed in and actively seeking things out was the Awesome Box, which is created by the Harvard Library Innovation Lab. It's free for libraries. Patrons are able to share what they think is awesome. The intent was to have patrons return items into a physical box. Again, we're a small library. We used bookmarks instead of a box, and so people could slip that in. Our staff scans the ISBN. It goes into an online portal. They click on it. They get to our catalog. They check it out. You can see our copy is checked out right now. And then I started thinking, when I'm at Walmart and when I'm somewhere else, I always look at the aisle. Impulse buys. This is a Creative Commons. You know about Creative Commons. We created an impulse line at our library. So what I'm saying is we're better together than individuals. I want you to steal every idea you've heard today. I want you to share that with everyone. I want you to make it better, and I think we can be better as librarians if we share and create a rich culture of librarianship. And I'll just say one more time, come to WLA in November, and I'm done.
Wow, you're still typing that.
I am.
Yeah.
It's a lot of words to type.
Yeah,
and
I can see that. Yeah, but you did a good job. All right, everybody. Let's give a round of applause for Ben Miller, everybody. There we go, yeah. All right. Well, we have our final trigger talker, and this is actually a Michigan person, ladies and gentlemen. I know, not in Wisconsin, but we had a slot open, and I asked Kevin if he would like to be part of this, and he had to think about it for a while. He hemmed and hawed. He had to sleep on it. He wasn't sure if he wanted to, do something like this. But then he agreed. So Kevin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys in Wisconsin?
Woo! We're a little sad. We lost, but at least we beat your Lions,
Thank you.
At the last game, so that's good, Anyway, so Kevin.
Whatever.
Kevin is our final trigger talker, so you can start whenever you're ready.
All right. Let me. All right. Well, my trigger talk today is kind of based in a story, because I know librarians love stories. So today I'm going to tell you the story about how a new librarian was devoured by a monster, or that's the subtitle of Can't You Read? Customer Service with Trust and Compassion. So this story begins when I was a young librarian starting out in my very first job in Clarksville, Indiana. I worked at a small branch of the Jeffersonville Township Public Library, which is right across the river from Louisville, Kentucky. So as a new librarian, my job was to take care of the tax forms. Now, in this story, the tax forms are not the monster. You might think they're the monster this time of year, but they are definitely not the monster in this story. But I want you to remember those things, because as a new librarian, I had to deal with them. And one day, a person came in and they said to me, "Where are the tax forms?" Well, what upset me the most is there was a sign right in front of them pointing with an arrow that I made pointing to where the tax forms were. So this irritated me to no end. It's right there in front of you. Can't you read? Can you see the sign, sir? This is what I said to the person. Can't you read the sign? Right there. The tax forms are right there. Right there, sir. Come on. Now, how many times have we been annoyed by that? People not reading signs and automatically think, does this person need to be here? So I had the fundamental attribution error monster, the FAE monster over my shoulder. Now, growing up, the monster in my dreams was a man in a chicken suit. That's what I was scared of. So let me tell you what the fundamental attribution error is, and I can tell you in a story. Well, one day I took my children shopping in the local grocery store. And they were younger, and we were going through the aisles in our shopping cart, and we came to an aisle where there was a man similar to me with his children. And the kids in his cart were going, Dad, I want Fruit Loops. I want Fruit Loops. Please get me Fruit Loops. And he was like, no, you can't have Fruit Loops. You can't have Fruit Loops. Leave me alone. Stop whining. Stop bugging me. Well, in the next aisle was the pudding aisle, and I was with my children. And my girls, I have two young girls, and they said, Dad, can we have pudding cups? And I said, no, you can't have pudding cups. Come on, give me a break. I want to just get this grocery shopping done, and I want to move on. Well, in my mind, the Fruit Loops dad is a total jerk. He was yelling at his children. How jerky can you be? Yelling at your kids in a grocery store. We've seen that before. We don't like it. But the pudding dad, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not a bad guy. I just had a bad day. I had a bad day like those sound
That was really funny.
So thank you very much. I just had a bad day. So that's the fundamental attribution error. It refers to the tendency, this is a social science term, it refers to the tendency to overestimate the internal and underestimate the external factors when explaining the behaviors of others. This may be a result of our tendency to pay more attention to the situation rather to the individual, and you can read the rest later. So exceptional customer service can fall prey to this FAE monster, this idea that we judge people by their actions and we automatically think they're a bad person. But if we exhibit the same behaviors, we're just having a bad day or there's just something wrong in our lives. And I contend that the FAE monster obstructs exceptional customer service. It gets in our way because we're always judging people. We're saying that person coming in is going to give us a hard time and we're not going to give them our best service possible. So what we need to do is trust that our patrons' actions are noble. Every time they come into our libraries, ladies and gentlemen, we need to trust that they're coming in there for a good reason. They're coming there because they want to make their lives better, not because they just want to get movies. We also got to think about compassion, ladies and gentlemen. How many people, we don't know if they're jobless. We don't know if they're homeless. We don't know if they're going through a divorce or they just feel different. Compassion is what we need more in these libraries when we serve our patrons. So I contend that if you have more trust and compassion, when you work with people in your libraries, you're going to fry that chicken, that fundamental attribution monster, and you're going to have some good barbecue chicken. That's our goal, is to fry that chicken. So let's go back to my story, my original story. When that guy yelled at the guy later at lunch, I was telling the story to my colleague. I said, can you believe that guy just saw the sign and he asked me what the tax forms were? I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was ridiculous. I was so mad. And my colleague said to me, Kevin, what if they couldn't read? Think about that. I was mad at an individual for not seeing the sign, and I didn't think about if they could read or not. This changed my entire life. A new librarian, suddenly the paradigm shifted. So I encourage you to serve your patrons with trust and compassion, and don't be devoured by the FAE monster. Thank you very much. Kevin King, Kalamazoo, out. That's so hard to do when I don't see people's faces.
All right, everybody, let's give Kevin a round of applause here. And how about a round of applause for all 6 of our trigger talkers? I thought you guys all did a great job. Please give yourselves a round of applause. As Kevin said, doing this is not easy, especially when you can't see faces and you don't know when annoying people like me are going to interrupt you with terrible sound effects. But, so you all did an awesome job. All right, I'm going to take back the screen. And it's time to vote, people. And like I said, I don't care how you decide to vote. I don't care if you vote for your best friend. I don't care, what you decide. It's entirely up to you. So on your screen, you see the listing of trigger talkers. Now we changed order a little bit because of some technical issues. So now we have a new order. We have Dominic as number 1. We have Kay as 2, Cole as 3, Marge as 4, Ben as 5, and Kevin as 6. So if you could go ahead and type in your question box who you would like to see, ladies and gentlemen, as the Trigger Talk champion, just give us a few minutes. Stay with us while we tally up the votes. Just hang tight, people. It'll take about 1 minute, and please stay tuned. No. All right.
We didn't think about this part. I have to count.
Hang tight, people. Yes, it is the never-ending theme of Jeopardy. Almost there. Almost tallied. All right. Well, it was a very, very close competition. Ladies and gentlemen.
Very.
Yeah, wouldn't you say, Jean? Counting up was very tough. It was very close. It was almost neck and neck right up until the end. And I am proud to announce our Trigger, I can't even say what year it is, our 2015 Trigger Talk champion goes to Ben Miller. Woo! Sauk City Library, Ben.
Homers.
I'm going to mute you, Kevin. There we go. Ben, would you like to give a speech? Speech.
Yes, I'd like to say that I thank everyone who influenced me and whose ideas I stole, but that would be a total lie. I thank myself because I did it. So, yeah.
All right.
We have a question. When and where is the WLA conference again?
I forget. Middleton, November 3rd through 6th.
Awesome.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Let's all give Ben one last round of applause. And let's give all our Trigger Talkers one last round of applause, people. Oh, yeah. Okay. Again, I want to thank all of you for speaking. I want to thank all of you for listening in. I think this was a lot of fun to do. I want to thank you all for listening in to the entire Wild Wisconsin Winter Web Conference. It was a great 2 days, and I think we really ended it on a bang. This was just a lot of fun. Thank you again, all of you speakers, for putting up with me and putting up with this. And you're all going to win a prize for trying.
Yeah, you all were wonderful.
So thank you to all the sponsors again, all of the other systems and the people out there tweeting, and Jean being as my backup. I feel this was a great conference. We're going to follow up in about a month or two and see where you're at with some of these sessions. See if you've tried any of the tactics that you learned, or if you've tried any new strategies that you heard of. So thank you very much for all listening in. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. So long.